Today I'm going to talk about the top 5 science fiction books that I read so far. Science fiction is one of my favorite genres. I always try to read one science fiction book each month. For this list, I will exclude the post-apocalyptic subgenre because I want to dedicate a separate video for this genre. The first book on my list is Dark Matter by Blake Crouch. This book is a science fiction thriller that is guaranteed to grip you from the very first pages. The book starts with the main character, Jason, who is walking home one night looking forward to spend the night with his wife and son, while also contemplating what his life would have been like if he made different choices. Suddenly, he is kidnapped by a masked man, and when he wakes up, he finds that his reality has changed. He is now a famous inventor, his wife is not his wife, and his son was never born. And now he's trying to figure out what happened and starts questioning if his past life was just a dream. And we follow him throughout the book as he tries to get back to his old life. This book is a mind-boggling and a fast-paced story. It's very thought-provoking and it makes you think of your choices in life. And I think it's a great introduction to science fiction for people who don't read this genre. Of course, Blake Crouch has another amazing book called Recursion, and it deserves to be on this list, but I already talked about it in my first video in the link above. Please check it out and please support the channel by hitting the like and subscribe buttons. Second book on my list is The Martian Chronicles by Ray Bradbury. This book is a collection of short chapters that could be considered short stories on their own, but they all explore what it would be like if humans colonized Mars and Mars had actual Martians on it. We see in the first couple of chapters what the first contact would be like with the aliens, and then what are the actions that the humans took to colonize Mars because Earth is in chaos because of a nuclear war. This amazing book has been published in the 50s, but it's still very fresh. Some ideas discussed in this book are still relevant today, and this book focuses on the humans and their psychology rather than discussing the science behind colonizing Mars. It's dark in some places and very insightful. Some chapters are really surreal and more like fantasy. If you're looking for something really original, this is worth the read. Next book on my list is actually a series. It's the Foundation Trilogy by Isaac Asimov. I'm talking about the original trilogy here. The series has been expanded by the author with sequels and prequels, and the total number of books in the series are 7. I read the full series, but I think the original trilogy remains the best books of the series. The story talks about a guy named Harry Seldon who predicts that the Galactic Empire will collapse very soon, and he reached this conclusion by inventing a science called psychohistory, which can predict major events in the future. To do something about this, he decides to establish a society of intelligent people who are tasked with preserving the human knowledge, and he sends them to a planet very far away from the galactic center. So when the Galactic Empire falls, there will be a nucleus to start a new civilization. And he calls this society Foundation. The first book in the series is just setting up the idea by a series of short stories where there are no main characters, but the story is about creating the foundation. The short stories have time jumps, sometimes with hundreds of years. The second book in the series is where things take off, with the introduction of an amazing character called the Mule who wants to destroy the Foundation. The third book is the conclusion of the series, and if you don't read any other book in the series, you are fine. The Foundation series was a big inspiration for so many books and movies since it was published in the 50s. And I think Star Wars has been inspired by so many elements in Foundation, including Darth Vader from the Mule. Fourth book on my list is Sea of Tranquility by Emily St. John Mandel. This author is one of my favorites. Her writing is beautiful, but her concepts are sometimes challenging, which I really like in my reading. She blends science fiction with people's stories in a very elegant way. In this book, she chose to write about time travel and space colonization. Only she doesn't write about any scientific explanations behind the time travel machines or how we got to colonize the moon, but she focuses on the characters and their actions. All her stories are character-driven. In this book, we meet different characters in different times. At first, we think there is no connection between them, but gradually the author connects them in a brilliant way, which involves time travel loops, and deep philosophical questions like what if we live in a simulation. The characters are amazing and the writing is smooth and enjoyable. It's definitely worth a read. Last book on my list is Exhalation by Ted Chiang. This book is a brilliant short story collection that covers almost all of science fiction subgenres like time travel, parallel universes, artificial intelligence, and space exploration, and asks so many interesting questions about so many different things, and it makes you stop after each short story and think about it. The writing style is different in each short story depending on the setting and tone, and I found that very inventive of the author. At the end of the book, the author explains how he wrote those short stories and what was his inspiration for each one, and I found that very inspirational in itself. It's a great book and definitely worth the read. Thanks for watching my video. If you enjoyed it, please hit the like and subscribe buttons to watch my future videos. Please also watch my previous video on why I decided to reduce my Goodreads reading challenge, and I hope you enjoy it too. Thank you for watching and happy reading.